Ego death. It sounds intense, right? It's a powerful concept, but it's not about actually dying, it's about letting go. Letting go of the constant chatter, the endless stream of thoughts that often cloud our minds. We're talking about the I, the ego, the part of us that clings to identity, that defines itself through separation and distinction. That voice in your head, always judging, always comparing. It tells you who you are, who you should be, and who you are not. Ego death is about silencing that voice. It's about finding the stillness within, where the ego's grip loosens and fades away. It's about experiencing a state of pure awareness, free from the limitations of the ego. A state where you are not defined by your thoughts, your past, or your future. Imagine feeling connected to something bigger, something vast and infinite, beyond the confines of your individual self. Imagine feeling one with everything around you. The trees, the ocean, the sky, and even the people you encounter. That's the potential of ego death. It's a journey towards unity, towards a deeper understanding of existence. It's a profound shift in perspective. One that has been sought after by sages, philosophers, and spiritual seekers throughout history. It can be challenging, but it can also be incredibly liberating. To let go of the ego is to embrace a new way of being, one that is more aligned with the true nature of reality. So take a moment to breathe, to be present. Allow yourself to experience the world without the filter of the ego. You might just find a sense of peace and connection that you've never known before. Letting go of the I is not about losing yourself, it's about finding a deeper, more authentic self, one that is in harmony with the universe. Embrace the journey, embrace the transformation. Let go of the I and discover the boundless potential within you. Ego death isn't new, it's been around for centuries. Ancient traditions like Buddhism and Hinduism have talked about it for ages. They call it enlightenment or moksha. These traditions believe that the ego is an illusion. It's a barrier to true happiness and fulfillment. Think of the ego as a tiny boat on a vast ocean. It's constantly being tossed around by the waves of thoughts and emotions. Ego death is like stepping off the boat and into the ocean itself. It's about merging with something larger than ourselves. Fast forward to the 1960s, it was a time of immense social change and upheaval. The world was witnessing a shift in consciousness, a collective awakening that was unlike anything seen before. A cultural revolution was brewing. People were taking to the streets, demanding civil rights, peace, and freedom. Music festivals became the epicenter of this new wave of thought, where ideas flowed as freely as the music. People were questioning everything, exploring new ways of thinking and being. They delved into philosophy, spirituality, and alternative lifestyles, seeking answers to life's biggest questions. Conversations about the nature of reality and existence became commonplace. Psychedelics like LSD and psilocybin became popular. These substances were more than just recreational drugs, they were tools for expanding the mind and exploring the depths of human consciousness. These substances have the power to induce altered states of consciousness. Users reported vivid hallucinations, profound insights, and a sense of connection to the universe that was previously unimaginable. They can lead to experiences of ego death, even if temporarily. This phenomenon, where the sense of self dissolves, allows individuals to transcend their personal identities and experience a state of unity with all that exists. Think about it. You take a high dose of mushrooms and suddenly, your sense of self dissolves. It's as if the boundaries that separate you from the world around you vanish, leaving you in a state of pure being. You feel connected to everything around you. It's a powerful experience. This sense of interconnectedness can be life-changing, offering a glimpse into a reality where everything is interconnected and interdependent. It made people realize that there's more to reality than what we see on the surface. The experience of ego death opened up new dimensions of understanding, challenging the very fabric of what we consider to be real. It was a profound shift that left a lasting impact on those who experienced it, forever altering their perception of the world and their place within it. Now, you don't need to drop acid to experience ego death. It can happen through meditation, yoga, or even intense experiences in nature. It's about quieting the mind and connecting with something bigger. Think about a time you were completely absorbed in something. Maybe you were playing music, creating art, or having a deep conversation. In those moments, the ego fades away. You're fully present, fully immersed in the experience. That's a taste of ego death. Section 5. Dissolving the self. what ego death feels like. So what does ego death actually feel like? It's different for everyone. But there are some common themes. People describe a sense of unity, of oneness with everything. The boundaries between self and other dissolve. There's a feeling of profound peace, love, and acceptance. Imagine standing on top of a mountain, looking out at the vastness of the world. You feel small, insignificant even, but at the same time you feel connected to everything. That's the paradox of ego death. Section 6, the dark night of the soul, facing the challenges of ego death. Now, ego death isn't always sunshine and rainbows. It can be challenging, even terrifying. When the ego dissolves, so do our usual defenses. We're forced to confront our deepest fears, our shadow self. It's like staring into a mirror and seeing every flaw, every insecurity. Imagine all your deepest fears and insecurities bubbling to the surface. It's not easy to face those things, but it's necessary for growth. Section 7, the dawn after darkness, integration and growth. But here's the thing, on the other side of that fear, there's incredible potential for growth. When we confront our shadows, we can start to heal them. We can integrate them into our sense of self. We become more whole, more compassionate, more understanding. Think about it like this: you can't outrun your demons. Sooner or later they'll catch up. But when you face them head on, you can disarm them. You can learn from them. You can even befriend them. Section 8, ego death and psychology, a new perspective on the self. In this chapter we delve into the fascinating concept of ego death and its implications for our mental well-being. Ego death, a term often associated with mystical experiences and spiritual awakenings, is now gaining traction in the field of psychology. Now even psychologists are starting to pay attention to ego death. This shift in perspective is opening up new avenues for understanding the self and our place in the world. It's not just some mystical woo-woo stuff anymore. The concept of ego death is being studied and applied in therapeutic settings, offering profound insights into human consciousness and personal growth. Therapists are using techniques like mindfulness and psychedelics to help people experience ego death in a safe and controlled environment. Think about it. Mindfulness practices, which focus on being present in the moment, can help individuals detach from their ego-driven thoughts and emotions. Psychedelics, when used responsibly and under professional guidance, can facilitate deep, transformative experiences that lead to a temporary dissolution of the ego. If we can learn to let go of the ego even for a little while, we can start to see ourselves and the world in a new light. This shift in perception can be incredibly liberating, allowing us to break free from the constraints of our habitual thought patterns and limiting beliefs. We can break free from negative thought patterns and limiting beliefs. By experiencing ego death, we can gain a deeper understanding of our true nature and our interconnectedness with all living beings. This realization can lead to a more compassionate and empathetic way of living. We can start to live more authentically and joyfully. Embracing the concept of ego death can help us cultivate a sense of inner peace and fulfillment, allowing us to navigate life's challenges with greater resilience and grace. So let's explore this new perspective on the self and discover the transformative power of letting go of the ego. Section 9, the importance of guidance navigating the ego death experience. But here's the thing about ego death. It's not something to be taken lightly. It's a powerful experience. It's important to approach it with respect, with guidance, and with support. Think of it like this. You wouldn't climb Mount Everest without a guide, right? Same goes for ego death. Find a teacher, a therapist, or a trusted friend who can help you navigate the experience. Section 10, beyond the self-ego, death and the interconnectedness of all things. Ego death isn't just about personal growth, it's about realizing our interconnectedness. When the ego dissolves, we see that we're all part of something much bigger than ourselves. We're all connected. Think about it. We breathe the same air, we drink the same water, we share the same planet. What affects one of us affects us all. Ego death helps us to see that connection more clearly. It fosters compassion, empathy, and a sense of responsibility for ourselves and each other. Section 11. The enduring legacy of ego death, a journey worth taking. Ego death is a journey. It's not a destination, it's about constantly letting go, constantly evolving, constantly becoming more than what we were before. It's a lifelong pursuit. It's not always easy, but it's worth it. Think about it. What if we all experienced ego death, even just for a little while? What kind of world could we create? A world with more compassion, more understanding, more love. That's the power of ego death.